Come join me today with another video on the loose abstract painting. Today I'm focusing on painting abstract flowers. I show you a very loose style, very fun style, and I really think you'll love it. Hello, my name is Cheryl Wilson. I'm an abstract artist. This week I thought I would paint for you some abstract flowers. I've been really wanting spring to come. January has just been a very dark and cold and snowy weather for us over in the Washington DC area, and we're expecting sleet tonight. So this last week I've been really into painting flowers, and I've had a lot of comments, a lot of questions about the clay paint I mentioned. So I'm going to talk about the paint I'm using. I do mix some ink, some acrylics, and some of this new clay paint I've got. And I really love the mixture. And the abstract flowers I paint are very abstract. They're not a real flower, but I just love being surrounded by the beautiful paintings. Okay, and I've done a couple. Here's one back here, and then there's a couple up on the wall. They just cheer me up, and I thought I would take a break from my normal neutrals and put some color into my world, and I wanted to just turn the camera on and show you. I feel that I paint these loose abstract flowers because they're like a perfect blend of structure and freedom, allowing me to just honor my desire for the spring, infusing it with a lot of my raw emotion that I put into my abstracts, and free, loose movements. They're not like traditional flowers where there's like a lot of precision in the detail or even in the color of the flowers that I paint. But my approach is this spontaneity. There's texture, there's expressive marks, and it captures, I feel, the essence of the flower rather than their exact form. Each bloom that I create, each flower head, so to say, it's not from a vase of flowers I have in front of me. It's more of a reflection of how I feel from thinking about flowers. It's a reflection of my feelings, my joy, my peace, even struggles, and how flowers present a softer part of my desire for my world to be during the day. And it's interwoven through the joy of these bright colors and different colors being blended together. I feel in painting these abstracts, I can embold the softness and this chaos and harmony, fragility and strength, all at the same time. And they're not just about what is seen. It's really more about how I feel and what I feel as I'm painting them. And as I paint them, how I remember feeling looking at flowers in a garden or in a vase. They're just these whispers of nature translated from my paintbrush onto the paper or the canvas. And it's like I let go of control and I just surrender to what I feel wants to happen on the paper. So sometimes the painting of the flowers does not come out to be a more beautiful painting of, like, I feel my abstracts, my normal neutral abstracts make me feel, but they're like a freedom. So that's what I thought I would share with you on paper today as I'm creating. Well, hello everyone. My name is Cheryl Wilson. I'm an abstract artist, and those that have been following me for a while know my relationship with doing florals. I love florals, but I just don't feel that I do a great job with them. Let me show you some florals that I've done this week, and I thought I would just do a demonstration with you today to just show you how I created these. Of course, it's hard to recreate exactly. Here's like one big bud. Of course, I'm using my script that I always put in my paintings. This is two beautiful little flowers. And then I wanted to try my hand at more of an expressionist, maybe a Monet type look. So I may do some of that. But I wanted just to play with creating some florals, and I'm going to primarily use the paint that I got, and it's Painterly. And the reason why is I wanted to have some paint that I could put on some material, and I found this paint here. I got it at DIYpaint.co, and it's clay based and it cleans up with water, but it's very low VOC, mainly used for furniture, but you can use it on fabric, and then they put out this line where you can use it on canvas and paper. And what I love about this is, I mean, I'm not sponsored by them, they don't even know I'm doing this, but the way it dries, now I've mixed this with some acrylic inks and then some other acrylics, but it dries and the color of the paint stay vibrant and pretty much the color that you put down. And it's, you can do it, you don't have to worry about your hands. So I'm going to use a mixture of those. I'm going to use some acrylic inks. I'm more than likely going to use some of my Stabilo crayons on some. Of course, I'm going to use pencil on some. Let me get my pencil. We'll use a charcoal pencil and a regular pencil. I can get the paint off. I'll have to get one that's not covered in paint. I'm going to use some probably regular acrylic paint. I don't know, whatever I'm going to grab. But like I said, it is not going to be the same paintings I showed you. Everything comes out differently, especially with me. I'm going to water down. I'm using different size brushes. I don't even mind using a big, thick brush on a smaller painting. If you use all small brushes, I feel restricted. So I do even have an angle brush. And I found a brush that I started to enjoy using this last week. Let me find it here. It's a dagger brush, and it's kind of like, you know, at a slant too. So I may grab that. I'm going to get my water. So I'm using a piece of palette paper because I'm going to try to do a couple paintings and then I can move the palette paper. Let's start with a, I'm going to start with some pinks and some magenta. So I'm just squirting them out. The reason why I don't go into a lot of detail about the specific paints I use is because I think it's important to get used to using your paints that you have. A lot of people, I do, you know, tell you what paints I use, but if you recreate just the paints I have, I feel that if you use some of the paints that you have and the colors you love, it just expands your palette, so to say. Not your palette, but your personal palette. So I'm getting some of the golden, and I'm just gonna, everything is loose. These are loose abstracts. I don't have a particular plan. I'm just going to enjoy making some loose buds. I don't know how these are going to turn out. Sometimes I actually have to revisit many times what I'm doing because I don't like what I've done to start. I'm going to bring in some black. I want to make some of the petals darker. So I'm bringing in some carbon high flow black. You know, black can overtake. I just want to add a little bit and make this kind of like dark raspberry. If you hear talking in the background, I now have a husband who's home full-time. He's retired, and we're trying to get used to him being home. This is his home. He lives here, and engineer. I don't want to say he doesn't support my art, but he still sees me in the corporate world, so supporting my YouTube channel, well, let's don't say anymore. He's home, and if you hear a noise, he forgets I'm down here working, so to say. Alright, these are very loose, and that's what I want. I'm going to add in some of this DIY. I'm going to blend it. Kind of almost made the same color, but let's, for the sake of, I'm going to go to actually a bigger brush. This is getting bold because this is a huge brush. I'm wetting it a little bit, and I'm just, okay. Let's go with this angled brush. Going to bring in some of this like light, this magenta. All right, now that's enough for now for my flowers. Like I said, it's very abstract. That's what I want. Let's add in. I gotta get a pencil that doesn't have paint on the end. Let's just, okay. Let's add some pretend stems. Let me do this beautiful blue. I want to do very loose. Do some, maybe the very loose. Now I need to add in some green for the stems. So we have a couple choices with a painterly. This is called Dreamville and Peace Matters. So I actually like, for my leaves, I don't like this color just out of the bottle. This is from Golden. It's a high flow. It's the green gold, but I do like it mixed. So I'm actually gonna bring this and I'm gonna mix it on the paper. I picked up some of the red, and I don't mind that. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to wait to add this, I think maybe with my finger. I'm going to add some of the acrylic ink. So let's add that. Now take my brush, get it wet. Bring that a little closer. Let's see. I like very, very, very loose. Maybe use a finer brush and kind of put a leaf down here. Okay. I'm looking at what I have. I'm going to use my finger and kind of just add some fun maybe some darker petals. If you look at them, are so layered. They're very interesting. A lot of artists paint having their subject right in front of them. I don't. I paint, when I do my abstracts, I don't paint from a subject, I paint from my memory. I paint from the feeling that I actually feel from the remembrance of the flowers that I experience. I'm sure some of you might relate to that. If you do, let me know. I don't put a vase in front of me and start to paint. I just don't feel it that way. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to put a background on this, and then we may have to touch it up a little bit more. Okay. I think I want
Cheryl?
yes.
Can I bring it?
I think for this one, maybe I won't put a background. I think I just... I'm going to put this to the side and to decide about the background. So we'll grab another piece of paper. So let's do another one. I may bring in, move this up. I want to do some really light pink, so I'm going to get some more high flow white. I'm going to start with my round brush, mix some of the red and the white, make a light pink. mind having some drippies on this. Let's do another one over here. A little darker at the bottom. Maybe a little darker. Have it go off the edge. I want to add in some of this painterly. This is called Poetic Pink. I want it to blend, so I'm going to put it on my palette. Add some of the magenta. Maybe some of that. It's all blending together, which is fine. I just wanted to add a peak of a flower behind. All right. See if I can almost add a white one here, very white here. Very loose. Oops, got some dark in there. Okay, have to fix that. Made it a bigger petal because of that. Okay, now let's add some of my green. A couple stems here. I'm going to use my dagger and dip into the green gold, just very loosely. I think the looser I work with my flowers, the better I like them. When I start to get too controlling, I don't like what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to dip into some white. Alright. I'm going to make some more of that raspberry look, which is the magenta and a dab of the black. I really think I may want some drips here. Don't mind a drippy painting. I think this flower up here might need more. It's very abstract, and that's what I'm looking for. It's a little bit different of a green. I'm going to dry this because I'm going to add some of that green in with my finger. I'm going to bring my thicker brush in. I still want to build out that a little bit more. You know what I may do is I'll use some of this pink and then Okay. Now for the background on this, maybe just lightly brush in. I want a little bit of dirty water and green. It's very transparent. I'm not careful. I'm being very loose. I don't mind that pink coming in there either. I'm going to try now. Kind of the shape. Like that as well, okay. This is my charcoal. There, like that. Kind of mute it down a little bit. I think I need a little bit of a darker space for contrast up here. I said I was going to bring this green in. I like the lightness because I want to get some variations on my leaf, even though the leaf is very abstract. I kind of almost like this. I don't want to overdo. I like this color. All right. So if I have that color, do I want to add a little bit of like scribble? Yes, I do. Works better when it's dry. All right, let's see. I want to introduce this. Not a lot, so let's rub that back. Is there anything else? Pretend like I'm lining this. So, there's another painting. Just let that dry. I think with this one, I'm going to get another piece of palette paper because there's some colors on there I may want to use. And I'm going to grab another paper. And with this, I'm going to bring in some more of this peachy color. And I'm still going to use, I have some of the rose on my brush. Bring in some of the white. That very, very light, and I'm just gonna, this is just an idea of an abstract, okay? I will bring in one over here to balance it out. I will bring in some darker. Here's my words that I always put in my painting. I mean, we're keeping this loose. I'm going to bring in my green. Here's a leaf. Here's a stem. Leaf down here. My dagger brush and again blend on the paper. I mean, we're talking about very, very, very abstract. Again, I'm going to bring in some of the dirty water. Kind of make the background read a little bit green. If you haven't watched my video on doing abstract, not floral type abstracts with dirty water, I have several of them out there. It's one of my favorite types of paintings. Alright, I think I need to let this dry and add a little bit more darkness up here. Now what I haven't done yet, which I do in a lot of my art, is a palette knife. So I'm going to grab, I have a palette knife coming that I'm hopefully is even smaller than this. It's in millimeters. I'm terrible with numbers. So they talked about millimeters and I'm like, okay, that sounds small to me. Okay, let's just smush some of that in. What this is doing is just giving it another touch of texture. Let me see if I can get another slight variation. I like the painterly paint because it's very flowy, smooth, and the golden I have to water down for my purposes here. Okay, it's all I want. I don't want it to override. Okay. Again, I want this extremely abstracty. I'm going to dip my brush down in the green gold. Get some white, keep it very watery, and get more of a green background in here. I like that color. So I'm going to pick up some of that pink, and I'm okay with that. It's like doing a light wash. A little bit darker there. Okay, now that was a little much, so let's take a dab. Dab that around. Alright, do I want any more definition? Maybe making my outline of the leaves with a charcoal pencil, but make it loose. This is not going to be everyone's style of painting. I realize that. But it's going to be someone's. Alright, now I actually want this to have a little more smoothness. I'm going to take this directly from the tube and use this palette knife. So I think I need a little bit of green up here. It's a preference thing. So I'm going to add a leaf. Use my dagger brush and just pull that up. Okay, again, this may not be your style of painting. Very loose abstract. Alright, if I do too much, I'm starting to get in the weeds here. So, there we go. One more touch. One more touch of something here. Alright. I love it. So thank you for being a part of this journey with me. Thank you for hanging in there to the end if you did make it to the end. This was by far my favorite. I did add a little bit up in that left hand corner, more of a another kind of like a pink area, but this was my favorite, and I added my lettering on there. Again, these are very, very loose abstracts, and they're a lot of fun to create. The looser that you can create these abstracts, the more fun I think you'll have. Once you start becoming too tight, you start to become the marks start to show it. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment and tell me if you do florals. I'd love to know more about what you create, and even drop a line and tell me more, a little bit about you, those that I don't know very well yet. So thank you for being a part of my channel, a part of my life. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you for those that are in my membership that support me with a little bit every month to show their love. I just appreciate each and every one of you.